Hey, it's Kelly Ray. I wanted to jump on and talk a little bit about courageous and vulnerable leadership. Sorry, I can't get this straight. Usually I do that before I press go live. I've been reading Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, not Browned. And it's really started me thinking about a lot of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if I went live a few more times in the next few weeks because she's really got me thinking. And it's been a long time since I've read a book that's had me impacted this much, I guess. I'll do a whole nother video about that. But one of the chapters that I was listening to, it was so powerful that I had to pause it and think about it for like a day, and that's never happened to me. Usually I think and I learn very quickly, and this one statement just sort of hit me. It was about joy being our most vulnerable emotion. It was really powerful. So I will definitely do another live about that. But today I want to talk about, basically, Brene Brown talks about courageous leadership being the only effective way to lead, and there being no way that you can be courageous without being vulnerable. And so I sort of took that and looked at my life over the past month and came up with 3 ways that I've been able to be more courageous and be more vulnerable, and how that worked out for me. So I wanted to share it with you guys because I know a lot of people say that they really like hearing real life examples. So here are a few of my favorite ways over the last month that I got courageous and vulnerable and therefore more effective. So first of all, we have to give up trying to know all the answers. So I know as a young manager, I apologize if anyone watching this ever used to work for me in my first couple of management jobs. I was the worst. But I remember when I was a boss, I figured I would have to know all the answers. I would have to constantly be telling people what to do, telling them how to do it. And I mean, we didn't even really have Google then. I know, crazy. But if I didn't know it, I would pretend to know it. Like, that was the worst thing you could do, right? So they know we don't know all the answers. So be truthful, you know? You can say, that's a great question. Let's figure that out together. Or what do you think we should do? But at the very least, admit that you don't know all the answers and then figure them out together. The other thing is too, stop talking so much. That's a problem with knowing all the answers. If we feel like we have to fill all the space, we have to tell all the things, we have to teach all the things, we're not listening. And if you're not listening and asking questions as a leader, you're pretty handcuffed. If you're not creating a lot of space for people to talk to you and to learn from them, you'll have a lot of trouble identifying what's holding them back, figuring out what barriers they face and how to knock those down together. So, number 1, give up trying to know all the answers. Number 2, you have to admit that you're not Superwoman or Superman, especially if you fall down the stairs and break your elbow. So, about a month ago, I fell down the stairs and broke my arm, and I tried to just continue on business as usual, and it was quite pathetic, actually, looking back at it. I didn't miss any meetings, I didn't take any time off, I was just like, nope, it's fine, I just need help carrying things. But the truth was, I wasn't sleeping, I was really struggling, I was even, feeling depressed and a lot of anxiety. I wasn't able to exercise the way I wanted to, so I was just really having a tough time. But I would come into work every day, let's go team, everything's great. And they knew, but of course they didn't say anything, that I was faking it. And I got called out a few times, even by one of my clients telling me, I've never seen you yawn before, that's not a good sign. And my team was like, well, you said this the other day, don't you remember? I'm like, no, I don't. So it was not good. And then last week I finally admitted to them, we went for lunch and I said, guys, I've been really struggling hard this last month with breaking my arm, and I'm really sorry I haven't been showing up the way that you need me to show up. Worst part is I was training a new person, so this is her impression of how I am. Anyways, they were so cool about it, not judgmental at all, and like I said, they knew. Your staff know. They know you're not Superman or Superwoman, and it's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit, like, hey, I need help. I'm not feeling that great. I'm struggling with this. In fact, you're not going to get any connection with your team if you're not authentic like that. And if you have no connection with your team, you're in big trouble. Just be careful. Brene Brown cautions against, don't ever try to use vulnerability or authenticity as a tool. You never want to try to, share something just to manipulate someone to feel closer to you. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about authentic sharing, authentic, relevant sharing. So, I'm struggling and I could really use your support here, that kind of thing. Okay, that was 2. Number 2, don't pretend you're Superman. Number 3, and the last one, you need to ask for, accept, and do something with feedback. So well, constructive criticism, let's use that term instead. You're not perfect, and neither am I. And the truth is your team knows it. So when you don't admit that you're not perfect, it's really hard because, I don't know, I'm sure you've had a boss like this because you haven't always been a boss. But when you feel like your boss knows all the answers and thinks they're perfect and nothing they do is wrong, it's really hard to work for them. So your team knows you're not perfect, admit it to yourself, and you don't need to apologize for it. Just be real about it. So, knowing that you're not perfect, now what can we do? Ask for feedback. So, we can ask things about how are they feeling about work, what would make them happier at work, how they feel about the leadership, what they might do if they were in the leadership role. Ask them what they would change so that we could be more efficient or effective. Ask them what they might change to make clients happier. And once you get those answers, just take some time, take a beat, let the offense and defensiveness wash away, and take the constructive pieces of it and then implement it. Don't ask for feedback if you're not going to look at it and seriously consider implementing it or doing something with it. Because in my experience, if you ask for feedback, then you ignore it. That's even worse for engagement and loyalty and retention and employee satisfaction than not asking at all. So the key is to make sure once you get it, you at least address it. You don't have to go take every single thing that everybody says and do it right now, but you do need to at least make an effort and show them that you're considering it or that there's a plan down the road to implement it or implement it right now. And just remember, these are not personal attacks. You asked for the feedback, it's gonna help you. Okay, so those are just 3 ways that I have sort of found ways to be more vulnerable and courageous in the past month. I'd love to hear some of your ways. I hope this helps you guys. I'm not perfect, obviously. I think I say that quite a bit, but this vulnerability thing, I think we really need to change. I love the fact that Brene Brown is all over these days and she's become really popular because it's a really good message and it makes a huge difference in my life, and I know it can make a big difference in yours too if you let it in. And on that note, I really highly recommend that new book by Brene Brown, Dare to Lead. I'm not sure how new it is, but it's a great book. We're listening to it on Audible, or we got a copy of it. Maybe we'll give a copy of it away. But yeah, I highly recommend that. And I hope you guys are having an awesome week.